This kind of falls under the banner of another manipulation and lie that people have, which is God gave you 2 ears and he gave you 1 mouth, therefore you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. You've heard me say this before if you're familiar with my material, but that's a stupid idea too. There's no formula for that, and you really have to be cautious of the person who one-on-one says you need to listen twice as much as you talk, because they're not intending to do the same thing, which makes them a total hypocrite. Welcome back to How to Read and How to Apply the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Here's the book right here. If you haven't gone back and listened to the first episode where I set this whole thing up on why we're doing this and listen to the other ones, some of this might be confusing, but otherwise you're going to get this particular law, but why I'm motivated to do this to be a little bit different. And by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, make sure that you're sharing this, and you're also providing a comment on what we're talking about here. This fourth law by Robert Greene is one that, unlike the first three, which I basically take to task on why you would be a horrible person to do them, is one that's, I think, brilliant and good for all people in most of its application. Always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you're saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-minded, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Well, this is good advice. I mean, the idea that you're trying to impress by it or trying to intimidate, that is, a dubious, vain intention sometimes, although sometimes it's necessary to impress, and sometimes it is necessary to intimidate. But sometimes he says things in there as though that's always going to be the mission. Now, here's the other thing about most of the wording that Robert Greene has, and he does it for effect, but always say less than necessary. No, actually, here's how I would rewrite this. Always say what is necessary. If you're saying less than necessary, you're not effective. You're literally ineffective. Here's the assignment. We're going to go to war, and we're going to go to the east. Was it north, Bob? Listen, I'm trying to be intimidating and look smart. No, you look stupid, Bob. Hey, we're going to go to the east, and here's the plan. This kind of falls under the banner of another manipulation and lie that people have, which is God gave you 2 ears and he gave you 1 mouth, therefore you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. You've heard me say this before if you're familiar with my material, but that's a stupid idea too. There's no formula for that, and you really have to be cautious of the person who one-on-one says you need to listen twice as much as you talk, because they're not intending to do the same thing, which makes them a total hypocrite. Here's how much you talk. You talk as much as necessary to be understood, and you listen as much as necessary to understand. You're going to be ineffective if you always talk less than necessary. Now, I think what he's trying to say is, by default, you're probably better off talking less. And there's a bit of a mystique about that. It allows you to understand things at a greater level, so you can assimilate those sorts of things in order to avoid foolish commentary and say something salient and important. But in an overall sense, this is the first one of those that I'm going to give a full-on thumbs up to Mr. Robert Greene on saying less than necessary. Make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you like, and make sure you subscribe so that we can build our channel. Hey there, Giant. Thanks for watching Durand On Demand. I need your help with something. The world desperately needs more giants. You know it, and I know it. We've been around a lot of people struggling, figuring out how to make things go. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this with as many people as you can. We're going to build this audience, and we're going to help people slay dragons together.